All right, I owe you guys an update after my midlife crisis video, partly because, I'm so grateful I was able to share that experience with all of you, because especially when I asked for some G-ups at the end of the video. And just quickly, sorry, if you need some context on my midlife crisis, just go watch my videos from the last month, but skip back 3 videos and start from there. But yeah, that's why I'm making this update. I'm sorry for leaving you all hanging with an update on how I'm going with all that stuff, because I feel like you guys are just as much a part of that as it is my midlife crisis now. Only just because the support I received from that video was just so massive and profoundly impacted me. So anyway, yeah, I just thought I'd come on and let you know how the trip went. Sorry, before we get into how my trip went and any further updates on how I'm going with my personal issues, we have to talk about Alec Bennis. So if there was one thing I had any negative feelings about immediately after I posted that video, like I thought the video came across so well and everyone really connected with it. It was some of the most authentic content I've made. But I just had that feeling of, oh, did I just like get my problem and just sort of handball it to Alec Bennis? Like, how's he gonna feel watching this? Like, feeling like he's some sort of like negative influence on my life, even though I did try to say in the video, yeah, he's one of my favorite content creators and a genuine inspiration. It inspired my midlife crisis. It didn't push me down into one. But on top of all the G-ups that I received from everyone just being like, go for those big waves, Angus, yeah. There was also all of these quite large, well-known content creators, fitness content creators, messaging me specifically about the Alec Bennis part, being like, I feel the exact same way about Alec Bennis. And I had a conversation with Alec after the video as well, just because I wanted to check in and be like, hey, sorry you had to hear that. Heaps weird thing to just go watch someone's video and then see them talking about you in that way. And Alex sent me a really nice message back. He was like, nah man, he was like, I think you're really sick, and said a bunch of really nice things. But one of the unfortunate things that he mentioned, and he probably doesn't want me sharing this, but I'm sharing it to help him to repay the favor. He was like, it's kind of heavy. I get messages from people all the time about how they feel like they're a shit version of me. And I knew exactly who he was talking about. Like, obviously all the people that messaged me being like, I'm a shit version of Alec Bennis too. And we all are, but we have to talk to each other. We can't just keep dumping this on Alec, because he's such a nice guy and he's got his own issues. He doesn't even feel like he's the best version of Alec. So let's not keep piling our crap on Alec. Let's deal with our own issues. I'm just as bad as you guys as well. I'm trying to make this as little of a lecture as possible, because I'm the biggest offender. I didn't just DM him, I posted it all over YouTube, right? But now I'm trying to make it right. All right, now back to the midlife crisis and the crazy surfing holiday. It's just squeaking again. In short, I was right. I knew exactly what I needed. So one of the criticisms that I received about, everyone was pretty supportive about pretty much everything that I said on the video, especially the Alec Bennis stuff. But one of the things that people pushed back on, they were like, oh, it's so unhelpful to think of yourself as a pussy, which, I've been to therapy. I acknowledge that, but I think it's okay, because I also had a tangible plan to sort it out. I'd already been through the just sitting in a room with someone talking about it and just thinking about it, being like, no, I'm not a pussy. And that didn't work for me. Like, some things you do need to just build a body of evidence for. Some people, they can use the power of the mind. My mind wasn't strong enough for this one. It needed environmental inputs. On top of going and just hunting some powerful waves of truth, both metaphorically and literally in the mentalities, I did announce that, one of these things that was going to also making me feel like I wasn't being my most authentic self was I wasn't leaning into the surfing content creation thing. So I had a proper 2 weeks at travel, lifestyle, and surfing content creation. And so that, even just the trip getting to the Mentawais was the experience of a lifetime. Like, if you have a chance to do solo travel, please do some solo travel. So anyway, if you fully want to get up to speed, just watch all 3 of the videos that I posted in the last month. The original midlife crisis video, my extended trip to the Mentawais travel vlog, and then I also did a bit of a trauma dump while I was surfing some sick waves out in the Mentawais. And so that was pretty much the first part of the trip, was, you know, transitioning into actual lifestyle and travel-based content properly, and just trialing that with my audience. And the response was amazing. So that was just such a joy, and I'm so grateful that you guys enjoyed that sort of content, that you haven't pigeonholed me to just being a strength and conditioning guy, because that's what I sold myself as to a lot of you originally. As much as I could tell the story of this trip just sequentially in days, I think another way to sequence it out is just talking about it in terms of themes. And like, so one of the themes that I just picked up on this trip was just trying to be like, one of the reasons I did this trip in the first place was just, I felt out of alignment with the universe. And, you know, as a surfer, one of the ways to just get back in alignment is to just go and just bathe in the magic Indonesian waters. Like, it is just a magical place. The water was 31 degrees. I was surrounded by palm trees. Waves were just absolutely insane. And like, that's the whole reason I went there. I went there trying to manufacture the score. The score is just getting good waves, but it's notoriously hard in surfing because waves and weather that creates waves is just inherently unpredictable. As soon as I bought my big wave board, or my step up board, it's not a real big wave board, I was just watching the swell charts in all of Indonesia. I was like, wherever there's sick waves, I'm gonna go. And this time of year, there's usually just sick waves constantly, but just weirdly, the whole of Indonesia just had, not garbage waves, there was a couple of good days, but just nothing that justified hopping on a plane and spending thousands of dollars to go surf it. It got to the point where, after waiting for 2 weeks, there was a swell that popped up that was still 2 weeks away. And I just said, screw this, like, because obviously 2 weeks away, when they say there's a swell coming, it's like, they don't know. They have no idea what kind of swell's coming at this stage. I just booked a week of accommodation at one of these waves that I had on my list. I was like, all right, in theory, this swell should hit this wave in this place in 2 weeks. Every day while I'm watching this swell, it just keeps getting pushed back a day. To the point where it gets pushed back to the point where originally my accommodation was booked so I'd get there the day after the swell arrived, and it would have been pumping the whole time. By the end of it, the swell was going to hit on the second last day of my accommodation, which is $20 a night, mind you. So it just got to a point where I was like, screw it. I'm just going to fly to Bali, and then whether I go surf Desert Point or whether I go to the Mentawais, I'll just be ready to go from that location. But it's fully just like, you know how, what's that saying? Like, a particle changes its behavior the moment it's being observed. That's how I felt with Indonesia. It's just like, just by me just like constantly sneaking up on it, trying to force the score, not being in alignment with the universe. Even though it's not a bad thing to book a surf trip, it's just the energy that I was coming at this with was problematic. After I've just been chilling out, making midlife crisis content in Indonesia for like 4 or 5 days, eventually the swell is coming, but it's just hitting the whole of Indonesia. So I need to make a call, whether I go east or west. I made the call to go west because there was more waves there. It wasn't just the all or nothing mentality. And it just felt risky going all in on this like really hectic wave if I decide to head further east to Lombok. End up having the adventure of a lifetime getting there because I ended up missing a flight and then missing a boat, which led to me catching a whole bunch of other flights and boats that you can just see in the travel vlog if you're interested in that stuff. But that was really fun, having an experience like that for my first ever travel vlog. And even just getting through that, I was like, look, if I'm meant to make the flights, I'll make the flights. If I'm meant to get on this boat, I'll make the boat. Because honestly, the first couple of days that I was in the Mentawais at the surf camp, it was really good waves, don't get me wrong. Really good waves, amazing weather, water temperature was 31 degrees, the waves weren't crowded, but it wasn't really the surf that you go to the Mentawais for. But at this point, I was just fully just trying to align myself with the universe and just accepting what was coming and trying to be grateful for what was there, because I kept telling myself I would never get to surf even that quality of waves at home with no one else out. Like, it was insane just to get those waves to myself. I was the only person actually staying in my surf camp, so that was a little bit of a strange experience, but it was enjoyable. It felt like a little bit more isolating. And yeah, it was just this insane experience of surfing all these breaks that I'd watched my childhood hero surfers surfing all these surf movies when I was growing up. Surfing a lot of them just with me and a couple of other guys out, driving around on a little speedboat full of beers and cigarettes, and and tasty food to eat in between surf sessions. I think one of the more unfortunate things about life, especially in my experience, is like just being so disassociated for some of the best experiences of my life and honestly enjoying them more in hindsight. And I think that's just something that a lot of neurodivergent people can probably relate to. Just some of the best experiences of your life, or things that were meant to be the best experiences of your life, were so overstimulating that you disassociated. But then after you're like, yeah, that was cool. Like, I like that happened. Or even just what I said, like the best day of your life happened, but you didn't realize it when it was happening. This was such an insane experience because I have thought about what, part of my personal development and going to therapy and then just developing like a daily journaling practices. I put a lot of thought into not just what my ideal life looks like, but like what is a perfect day for me? Even like, what does paradise look like if it truly exists? And I was in it. Yeah. Like, even if I designed heaven, I don't know what I would change. Like, and to be able to just be there. I guess the other thing that was missing was my mates. Like, but even I wouldn't have experienced the solo travel magic if I was going with my mates. They would have been more responsible and we wouldn't have missed all those flights. So it would have been good in a different way. So yeah, just to be exactly where you want to be in the way you need to be there, just at the right time. Like this is what I mean about getting in line with the universe. I did feel like I felt the beginnings of just getting more in line with the universe. I think it was on the Thursday, the next day, the Friday, was going to be the peak of this swell. Yeah, looked like we were going to have to go right. And a few guys that I've been talking to while I was surfing out at pit stops, just the wave out the front of my surf camp, they said that bank vaults was absolutely crazy and the swell was really hitting it. And they weren't wrong, because the next morning I grabbed my helmet and my spring suit. Like I wore it, so even though it's 31 degrees, I had this like short wetsuit for just a bit of protection if I got dragged along a reef. And a helmet, just so I didn't smash my head open on the reef. And so just me, my surf guide, and the Indonesian boat driver, we just drive a speedboat around the headland about 2 kilometers. And we rock up at this wave called bank vaults. And as soon as we pull up, we just see like, I wanted some big waves. But when I saw the wave, I was just like, I didn't want it to be this big. And I definitely didn't want it to be a right. And even though it was an absolute barrel, it was like this almondy barrel, which is just a bit of a tight fit for as big of a barrel as it is. It's like it's the hardest shape to ride. I'm not good at all at barrel riding on my backhand. But I was the one who asked the universe quite intensely to provide me with waves of truth. And when the universe provided, I didn't really like what it served up. So as soon as we rock up at bank vaults, this cleanup set just rolls through and just drills absolutely everyone in the lineup. Just from this like 3 or 4 wave set, there was like 2 to 3 just snapped boards, 2 snapped leg ropes. One guy had his helmet blown off and smashed his head on the reef. The upside of that is everyone had to get out. I mean, it was so big that most people wanted to surf elsewhere this day, but there was like 10 guys when I rocked up. That was reduced to 4 just by this one set rolling through. And in that moment, all I could think about was how far I was from home. What the hell does this look like if I get in trouble? And just like thinking about just how much I wish I trained harder leading into the trip. Like I just spent so much time getting tattooed. I mean, the waves weren't really good at home, but I should have just been doing pool sessions and things like that instead of getting tattooed before going and flying all this way actively to surf big waves. I turned to my surf guide and I'm like, can we just drive to, there's another right-hander around the corner that I know just isn't as intense of a wave, but I thought a decent amount of swell would have been hitting it. So we drove about 500 meters around to another point break. It was probably like 6 foot, but it was just a burger. Like it wasn't like a proper fucking hectic wave or anything like that. Like I wouldn't have felt scared out there. And then I just asked my surf guy, I was like, can we go back and can we just watch bank vaults just for like half an hour? I just want to look at it. So we drive back up to bank vaults And I'm just looking at the helmet that I bought. I bought a helmet and I bought a board to surf big waves, and then I was in front of the big waves. I was like, am I really not surfing it? Because the main thing in surfing is if you think you can't handle it, you shouldn't go out, because then it's other people's problems. Because if people see you dying, often they're not just going to watch you die, they're going to throw themselves into danger trying to save you. Surfers are just like that. Then I also just had this moment of just paddle out, like just get close to it. You don't even have to be out there where the wave's breaking, but like you are gonna put your helmet on, and if you want to be that much of a bitch that you want to paddle out and just sit beside it, then that's what we're gonna do. We are gonna get some sort of exposure to big waves. Because yeah, the waves I saw rolling through, I was just like, I really think that might kill me in my current level of fitness if it comes through. Like I genuinely don't know if I can handle that. So my main priority was just not getting caught inside and not getting maximum value from my travel insurance. Honestly, as soon as I got in the water though, I started to feel heaps better. I was like, nah, screw it. I'm going out and catching some waves. And within about 5 minutes of being out there, I nearly got caught inside, and oh my God, the wave that came through. I mean, I'll put a clip up of it that won't do it justice because the GoPro just makes everything look tiny. But yeah, almost immediately got caught inside, and just, I haven't felt that feeling in so long, in just really connecting with each stroke, being like, I think I'm gonna die here if I don't put everything into this stroke. And anyway, it's pretty easy to duck dive any sort of size wave. Well, generally speaking, it's a lot easier to duck dive a wave like right before it breaks. This one was so big, even that was a little bit tough, but I got through it and I managed to paddle over the rest of the set. And then I just slowly worked my way into the lineup, and I didn't get any barrels, but I caught 3 decent sized sets. The experience of being out at a wave of that quality and that size, that far from home, it was sick. And like, I talk about it all the time, surfing is not the most supportive culture, but it was interesting, surfing a wave that heavy. Everyone was so nice, and as soon as anyone saw anyone turn for a set, everyone was cheering for him. To the point where I didn't want to turn for anything, because as soon as I hinted that I wanted to go a wave, everyone was like, go, go, go! Because there was more than enough waves to go around. Just being out there as well with 3 or 4 other super hectic dudes who were they were just going for it. They were just looking for the biggest caves possible. And all I could think the whole time I was out there is like, I can do this. I just need to put a little bit more training in, but like, I want to pursue this as hard as possible. And yeah, I don't feel like a pussy anymore. Like that, I went out in some really gnarly waves, and I'm going to train, and I'm going to go out in even gnarlier waves. And that is like, because that's it. I knew what I needed. I called it in that midlife crisis video originally. I was like, I feel like I haven't surfed big enough waves. I feel like a pussy. I know that's a bad thought to have about yourself, but I'm pretty sure if I just go out and surf some big waves, I won't feel like that. And now I don't feel like that. So yeah, basically went on the holiday of a lifetime, had a great experience with more lifestyle or travel-based content, caught heaps of waves, caught some big powerful waves of truth, don't feel like a pussy anymore. Having such an amazing experience and thinking about how grateful I am for my job that allowed me to do that at the drop of a hat, for all you who make this business work, and who reached out to G me up after me sort of sharing this journey with you guys. So I hope you feel repaid with me being super candid about a bunch of heaps deep stuff. Oh, one other thing we have to talk about, Jesus. One of my fears about being more open with my mental health / personal development journey and all the therapy stuff, or even just because I don't go to therapy anymore. I mean, I will go back if I ever feel like I need to. And I just didn't want people to think that me sharing mental health stuff was me making a cry for help. There was a big pivot in content over the last couple of weeks, and there was a lot of content. Because I know I was going pretty hectic with the content and stuff, and I was talking openly about being in a midlife crisis, but I was also like clearly on a holiday, like finances were sweet. My money's sweet. I was just clearly having such a good week. Which I know some people have these manic episodes before they, themselves. But I just reckon any sane person who's like followed my content for a long time would have seen what I was doing, and probably, my friends and family, like none of them checked in to see if none of them did a welfare check on me. And I didn't need one. Like I was having the time of my life. And even with the slightly normies that checked in on me, most of them did it in a really compassionate way. So it made me feel a little bit gross because I was like, oh, because I'm gonna keep sharing this mental health content because I'm fine with it. Obviously, I still have a degree of insecurity with it, but it's more the degree of insecurity is just about the clarity of my messaging. Like, I just understand fundamentally that me being open about me just sharing personal development and mental health content will just seem like a cry to help to a certain percentage of the population. Someone saw my midlife crisis video on day 3 of a bender, kept bendering for another 2 days. They sent me a message as soon as they saw the video. That was pretty normal. Just be like, hey man, here's your G up, here's my number, if you ever need anything, call me. I was like, yeah, sick. First interaction ever with the bloke. He keeps bendering for another 2 days. I'm starting to make my way home from Sumatra, which is a couple of island hops and a couple of plane rides and boat rides. As I'm about to board my last plane home or leave the hotel to go and try to make that flight, he calls me, absolutely off his face on drugs. I don't know this, right? I do. As soon as we're like 2 minutes into the call, I realize he's on drugs. All right, so the start of the call goes like this verbatim. I'm doing one of my hectic packs in my big board bag, which is like throwing my life in it. I'm so keen to, I'll do a bit more scene setting. Like, I've had an amazing trip and I love just going on a big adventure. But by the same token, when I'm done adventuring, I want to be home now. Like, I was fantasizing about my bed. I bought a sick razor and some amazing toiletries before I left. I was keen to get back and use them. Pack my bag to get the last plane home. And I get a call from this bloke who, like I said, messaged me a few days ago. I'm like, kind of in the middle of something, but I was just saying yes to everything in the universe. I was like, on my yes man sort of journey. This is where it went bad in my yes man journey. Pick up the phone, I'm like, I pick up the phone, I'm like, how you going, mate? And he goes, how are you doing? And I was like, I'm having the time of my life. And then he goes verbatim, I know you wouldn't tell me even if you weren't doing good. And then just launches into just like 3 minutes of pure dribble. I don't know how long it would have gone for, because at a certain point I just cut him off and I'm like, hey man, like, this isn't really connecting the way you think it is. I gotta go, like, I got a plane to catch. I end up missing said plane because after I got off that call, I was like, what the hell was that? I'm also like 9 cocktails deep when I received the call. So sorry. Immediately after I put the phone down, I messaged this person, are you on drugs? Do you need me to call you an ambulance? To which he responds, no, you're on drugs. And I'm like, I'm in a country where you'll get the firing squad for doing drugs. This is probably a projection. Like, at this point, I'm like, oh, he's definitely on drugs. Anyway, I miss my flight home. And then I'm not proud of, like, I call this guy back. I'm like, you effing, I give it to him. Anyway, you don't really need to know the rest of that story. Why I'm telling this story is because I want to encourage people to reach out to people who they think are having trouble with anything, particularly mental health problems, you know, because men are like, no one talks about it. And people do talk about it, but no one checks in on their mates. And even that guy who was on day 5 of a bender, who did a welfare check on me, like, he was trying his best in his state. This video will save a life. If you are doing a serious welfare check on someone who you think is having mental health problems to the point where they are a danger to themselves, my advice, I'm not sure, look at websites. There's probably government websites for certain countries that will give you advice on what to do with this. Based on my experience, it's 2 ears, 1 mouth. Like what this person did, when I said, sorry, 3 minutes of dribble, it was like they were trying to rev me up, being like, don't do it. You know, I know everyone thinks you're an angry man and you suck, but I actually think you're cool. And you know, but what people need when they're a danger to themselves is they don't need revving up. They need calming down. A lot of people are too focused on the, don't do it, you're actually a cool guy. And it's important to say it's most important to calm people down. Even if you make them feel a bit bad, calming them down will stop them doing something drastic. So this person is lucky that I wasn't in the state that they thought I might have been. Because if I was in a state where I needed a call like that and this guy called me, oh my God, it would have been horrible. So check in on your mates. When you check in on your mates, 2 ears, 1 mouth. It doesn't have to be a completely passive process. If they do what I did, I was fine. But if you don't believe them, ask them again. But then listen, don't keep talking. You can ask them as many times as you want, as long as you just give them space in between. I mean, if you ask someone the same question 10 times, you're going to cause them distress, especially if they're sane. Anyway, wow, that was a lot in a video. I feel like you guys are much more up to date now. Expect a continuation of, you're going to see relatively a return of some fitness content. But like I said, going forward, all of this content is just lifestyle based, in the sense that there will be as much fitness content as there is in my life. There will be as much surfing content as there is in my life. Thank you all for the support through that midlife crisis. I feel like we really closed that loop. We can just move on now. I'm not losing it. I mean, 90% of you knew I wasn't losing it. And to the 10% of you that thought I was, thank you. I'll see you again.